Because recently I got Arkham Batman as my first original Revoltech figure, I've decided to get this guy as well. But is he any good? Let's find out. Hello and welcome back to the channel. In this video we're gonna take a look at amazing Yamaguchi Revoltech Joker, the 1.5 version. It's a re-release because they've released this guy before with a nice number of accessories, but now he comes with even more stuff. I had no idea that this is out, but I was scrolling through AmiAmi and I found it for around 60 bucks, and because I ordered Batman Arkham, I had to have this Joker too. I've seen some photos and videos of this guy and he looked fantastic, with all kinds of dynamic poses that you can get out of him. And that's exactly what I want to do. So first, a quick look at the packaging. It's a standard windowless type of box with a promo shot of the figure on the front, but not much more going on here. They really toned down their packaging design that used to be very busy, and from what I've heard, a lot of people don't like this and want them to go back to that previous look. On the side we have a nice promo shot of the figure in between the text. On the back there are even more promo shots of the figure in some nice dynamic poses, and here we see all the included accessories. We have few close-up shots on the other side. Here is the top of the box, warnings on the bottom, but now let's open it up and let's take a look at the figure. Here is Joker out of the box, and based on first impressions, he looks pretty good. The colors are bright and vibrant, joints are nice and sturdy, and I like that comic book design style that they went with here. Of course, with this being Revoltech, the figure can look awkward in a neutral standing pose like this because of all the cuts in the sculpt that are standard for this line. That's why these figures probably won't be appealing to everyone, but the design choices on these are always made with articulation and posing in mind. These figures are created to be displayed in all kinds of crazy, dynamic poses and not in a vanilla pose like this. And while at first I myself wasn't a fan, recently I started loving them because I really enjoy posing them. Looking at the proportions of this guy, there is only one thing that bothers me, and that is the head being a bit too small for the body. Other than that, I don't have any issues here. The body and the neck are long, and they tend to make longer necks on their figures to give them more range of movement and expressiveness, which I do like. Taking a closer look at the details, here is how the head looks, and even though I criticized the size of it, the sculpt is still fantastic. I love the way that the face turned out, everything looks nice and sharp, and just look at these eyes. You can see the craziness in them. They can be moved, there is that feature, and we'll get to that in a moment. The mouth and teeth are nicely sculpted and painted. The hair has a metallic shine, but I don't mind it. It looks like it's oiled or sweaty. As I said, the neck is long and thin, so that could bother some people. The collar with this tie is a separately sculpted piece that is glued behind the neck. Shoulder pads are also separate pieces that are pegged in the back of the arms, also for articulation purposes. Arms look good, but these big Revoltech elbow joints do have a slightly different tone of purple and are shinier than the rest of the suit. Gloved hands look good. Here is a closer look at the torso, and everything looks nicely sculpted. Here are the pants with these sculpted stripes, and they look bunched up around the ankles. The shoes also look good. They are nice and glossy. On the back of the figure we can see the cuts even better. On the back of the figure we can see that all of these cuts are even more obvious. We have a peg hole for the stand, and the lower part of the suit is pegged into his back and does articulate. On the back of the legs you can see these ugly and deep cuts that were also made for better range of movement, but you will see them only when the figure is in natural standing position, and if you turn it around, of course. So yeah, the design and aesthetic is definitely not for everyone, but personally I like it. Let's now take a look at his accessories. He comes with an instruction manual that is a folded piece of paper. You get a translucent display stand that you have to put together yourself. They also give you an extra Revoltech joint, which is always good to have in case you break one of those. We get a nice number of alternate hands. A pair of fisted hands are already on the figure, and then here we get a pair of trigger finger hands, a pair of pointing hands or hands that can grip the knife or some of the other weapons that he comes with. Then we get a pair of classic trigger finger hands hands, a pair of grabbing hands, a pair of open hands, and a different type of pointing hands that have peg holes inside, so they are also used for holding some of the accessories. He comes with an alternate head sculpt, and it's a fully sculpted head sculpt, it's not just a faceplate. And if the first one looks crazy, this one looks even crazier, with one eye being more open than the other, open mouth, crazy laughter, and I love the way that this turned out. And here is a comparison of the two, side by side. So yeah, this is a great variation. You get this Revoltech tool that serves for moving the eyes, because as I said, this guy has that feature. Both of the heads do have it. There are the peg holes for the eyes, but from what I've heard, it's really difficult to move the eyes because of the way that all of this is designed. This peg hole for the neck joint is kind of in the way when you try to articulate the eyes, so that can kind of be frustrating. I have to be honest, it is kind of tricky to move the eyes, but it can be done. So here he is looking to the side. You get a pair of these laughing effects, and also this piece of plastic where you should insert these in. And then what you need to do is use that extra Revoltech joint connected here and then peg it into Joker's back. It's a nice little effect that gives you some more variety here. And then he comes with a bunch of other stuff. For example, we get his Joker cane that looks beautiful with this golden Joker head at the top. We get a crowbar, this teeth accessory, a pair of rifles or Tommy guns, and these are beautifully sculpted. It's great that we get two of these. You also get a pair of shooting effects, and these can be pegged onto the rifle, so you get this effect. It looks pretty good. But then we also get a pair of revolvers, and these are also compatible with those firing effects. And then we get a third version of revolver, and this one is the fake one with this bang sign coming out of it. And of course, for these firing weapons, we have those trigger finger hands. The guns fit perfectly. Then we get this small razor blade that works perfectly with these semi-open hands. And then we have a pair of knives, and these are the larger ones. They look beautifully, they are sculpted beautifully. And then we get a pair of three knives grouped together like this. And you can see that they have a peg down here, and these work perfectly with these hands that have peg hole inside of the palm, and it looks like he's holding the knives. And then he comes with his cards, and they are also nicely sculpted, and the printing on them is beautiful. Here is the back side of the cards, and they work with the same hand. You peg in the cards like this, and now it looks like he's holding them in his hand. That is a lot of stuff, a lot of all kinds of weapons, nice accessories that you can use not only with this Joker, but you can give some of these accessories to some of your other figures. Let's now take a look at his articulation. The head and the neck have a nice range of movement, insane range of movement. You can get a nice tilt side to side. The head and the neck rotate 360. He can look down this far and then up all the way. Shoulder pads are on a swivel, so they move out of the way for the arm articulation, and we have those Revoltech ball joints in the shoulders, so the arms go up this much and then they rotate all the way. We have that standard Revoltech butterfly joint, and because of all of that, the arms can go across his chest this far. We have a rotation in the shoulder, a rotation in the elbow, elbows bend in all the way. We have a swivel in the wrists and a hinge in all directions. We have two cuts in the torso, one is up here and the other one behind the pants. So this is where you'll get your side to side tilt and side to side rotation. He can crunch forward this much, back this much. As we already saw, this is on a hinge and a swivel. Legs move out this much, they kick back and forwards. There is a tie cut, knees bend all the way. We have a swivel in the ankles, feet move forward this much, back this much. There is a toe joint and a generous ankle pivot. Let's now compare this guy to some other figures. Here he is next to the other two DC Revoltech figures that I have in my collection. On the left we have the original Arkham Knight Batman, and on the right we have the AliExpress KO of Revoltech Flash. Here's how he scales with AliExpress KO of Mezco 1/12 Joker and the original Mafex Dark Knight 2.0 Joker. Here he is next to Mafex Dark Knight Returns Superman and Battle Damaged Batman, and then we have him next to the Mafex The Batman Batman and the SH Figuarts Dark Knight Batman. I forgot that I have this guy as well, so here is Joker next to the AliExpress KO of Revoltech Arkham Knight / Red Hood, and AliExpress KO of Amazing Yamaguchi 2.0 Deadpool. Here is how he scales with City Toys knockoff of 185 Mafex Spidey and City Toys knockoff of Mafex number 1, The Amazing Spider-Man. Here is how he scales with 2 City Toys Wolverine knockoffs, and then here he is next to the AliExpress knockoffs of Amazing Yamaguchi Revoltech Venom and Carnage. So there you go, that was my review of the Amazing Yamaguchi Revoltech 1.5 Joker. And even though there are a lot of cuts in the figure that could cause some people not to like it, I have no issues with it. In fact, I love this figure. I love the way that it looks, even though the head could be just slightly bigger. But I love the articulation, all the crazy poses you can do with this guy, the number of accessories, extra head, everything here looks fantastic. As I said, I got it from Ami for around 60 bucks before shipping. And when you look at all the accessories included here and compare them to the price of some similar accessories that you can get on the market, it's not hard to see the value in this set. So I do recommend this release. Last time I checked, they still had him in stock on Ami, so if you want to get it, go check it out. But you've heard my thoughts and now I would love to hear yours. What do you guys think about this Revoltech Joker? Do you think that it looks good or bad? What is the best 1/12 Joker figure that you prefer? Let me know all of that down in the comments. As always, a huge thank you goes to my Patreon supporters for helping me to keep the channel alive. If anyone else can join and help, please do so, because everything that I earn over there goes into the future channel content. If you're interested, Patreon link is in the description. I also offer a channel membership, so if you can, join and become a channel member. And if not, that's also okay. You are still helping simply by watching and sharing my videos. So thank you guys for watching, thank you for being here with me, and I'll see ya in the next video.